Hi everyone, I am Mr. Rodriguez, and I'd like to demo importing photos in Lightroom Classic today. First off, you're going to want to get your Lightroom Classic app, and I just want to give you a heads up. The Lightroom Classic app does look a little bit different than the Lightroom mobile app. So this is Lightroom Classic, and we'll try to put out a different video for Lightroom mobile. It's a little bit of a different process. So those of you using Lightroom Classic, get the app open. It'll open. It'll look something like this. I have obviously lots of photographs already in my Lightroom. Um, if you look at all my photographs, it's 13,792, and that's just from this past year. So you might not have anything in here, and that's fine. So I'm going to go through the import process only and get you at least to that point, and then we'll move forward as we go along. I can do more demos on different techniques to use in Lightroom and in Photoshop. So first thing I did, which obviously you can't see right now, is that I took my SD card out of my camera, and I have an SD card reader that I have plugged into my laptop, and the card is in the reader. If you're on a computer that has an SD card slot on it, you could easily do that. My MacBook Pro doesn't have any of those slots, so that's why I have the reader. So first thing I want to do is I want to get it open, and I have my SD card in. And once it's in, you want to click this import button here. See right down here. Click. It's gonna bring you to this window within Lightroom, and it's going to ask you, hey, what do you want to import? So this SD card, my son actually took it and used it with his Leica point and shoot. So I don't want his pictures. These are his pictures here. And you can see that these are DNG files that I don't actually want. So I just want this stuff I shot with my Sony camera. So first thing, I always tell my students, start from left, go across the top to the right, and then down. So if we start on the left side up here, you want to select your device that you're getting your pictures from. So if you notice, I have an SD card here. My SD card is the no name card right here. I'm sorry, it's not the no name card. Oh, it is. It is. That is the correct card. Um, and if I click on that no name card, you'll see I have some options down here. Here's that card. And inside of that card, it has two folders. This is my son's folder. This is my folder. So I'm going to click, and there you can see some of the pictures that I've recently shot. So here it is across the top, no name, my folder. And yours probably won't have two folders. So if you just click no name, you're going to see all of your images right there. Obviously, I have two separate folders on mine, which is a little different. Across the middle here, top middle. Now you need to tell it, hey, what exactly are we going to do? We're going to get our images from the card. What do we want to do with those images? Well, what we really want to do is we want to copy those images from the card onto a space that we're going to tell it about in a minute, and then we're going to see them in our catalog. So that's what it's saying right here. We're going to copy photos to a new location, and we're going to add them to our catalog. So that's definitely what we want. I'm just going to do all my photos right now. So I'm going to click so you can decide. If you don't want to do all, you can click and just select the ones you want to do, and you have to click on each one. I don't work that way. I always work where I add all of my pictures in, and then I'll cull those down later once I have them in. Okay, it's typically that's a better workflow. So that's what I suggest for you. I have 151 photos that won't take super long, so it'll be fine. So now as I'm going across the top, now here I have to tell it, hey, where do I want to put those photos? Where are they going to live? They don't actually live in Lightroom. Lightroom is projecting an image of them. That's the thing to understand. Lightroom is just projecting an image. They actually live somewhere on your computer. So these photos right now, I'm actually going to put into my Google Drive. I have a folder set up in Google Drive already. So you're going to click here, and you can tell it here. I typically would click other destination, and now you can say, hey, I want to put it in my Google Drive, and I put it into my drive, and I can put it into personal, Rodriguez Photography, and I have this whole setup, right? I'm going to cancel that because it already says, look, Rodriguez Photography Photos 2019, which actually isn't right. It should go into 2020. So maybe I do need to make a change there. Let's do that. So see here, it's 2019. I want to click and say, hey, actually, I want you to go into 2020. And now I have these all sorted by date. I'm going to choose that. So you can see this. Oh, yeah. Let's look at that again. Why is it going 19 and into 20? That's weird. I'll have to adjust that later. So I'm going to cancel on this. And so now it's going to say 2020 here. So if you look down here, it'll show you the path that it's taking into 2020 there. Somehow I have it into 2019 and into 2020. I'll have to delete this back folder. So I have an extra folder in there. That's annoying. So you can see now I've selected where I want them to go. There are a couple little file handling things that'll be automatically selected, like build smart previews. I love this. Don't import suspected duplicates, especially for students who don't clear off their SD card. If you have already imported some images, they'll go gray here because you've already imported them, as long as you have this checked. Now, if you don't have this checked, it'll let you select them and bring them in again, and then you'll have two of the same image. It can actually get really annoying when you have 2, 3, 4 of the same image because you don't delete them off your SD card. So keep this clicked, or make sure you always delete off your SD card, and then you could unclick this. I always just keep it clicked just in case. If you want to make a second copy somewhere, you could click this and make a backup copy. I'm not going to do that today for the sake of speed. If you want to rename, you can do that here. I'm going to leave my naming protocol is by date and file name. That's what this does here. But if you want to do something else, you can click here and change it there. I'm not going to do that. If you have some special like preset for developing, like, hey, I'm shooting all wedding shots and I want to do some kind of special developing process to every single picture, you could set that up here. We're not going to do that. This is our destination, which we already selected here. This shows so you can double check exactly where it's going to go. Mine's going into my Google Drive, into this folder with all these pictures here. Pretty straightforward. At that point, I like what I've done. I'm going to click import. And it's you'll look up here and you'll see, hey, it's copying and importing those pictures in. Once this bar is completely done, that'll mean you're done. You can see as it's going, it's starting to create this catalog of images. You'll also see here under current import, I have 8 pictures. It's going to keep going as it builds them. You'll see it count up to 151, I think is what we said. So, yep, there we go. See, more going. So I'm going to let this run for a minute, and we'll touch back after this. So I hope you enjoyed this short demo, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.